Hong Kong Island. Endless hustle and bustle among the tallest and wealthiest concrete jungle in the world. But it's also this and this. Today I woke up as early as I could to escape the busiest part of the island before even catching any smell of dim sum, and headed south of the island to the quiet fishing village of Aberdeen. On the way, suddenly, Béthanie caught my attention, so I quickly got off the bus and met a 150 years old neo-Gothic complex and dairy farm built by French. Just a halfway from Hong Kong Central to Aberdeen, there is a very unusual name of neighborhood called Béthanie. And I found this neo-Gothic building built in 1875 by Paris Foreign Mission Society. It's some sort of a sanatorium or nursing house, which was first in East Asia, and around 6,000 missionaries stop here. And no admittance. You cannot get everywhere in this sanatorium. Geographically, this was an ideal place for the French priests to recover from tropical diseases at the time. On average, 20 visitors occupied 14 rooms there simultaneously. They even organized a small-scale printing press, publishing religious materials of 28 languages. It is now used for School of Film and Television, and I can see one room for audio recording and other classes. So they converted nursery house, a sanatorium, into this kind of educational facility. There's even apparently a chapel in the middle of this building. Look at this tower. I can see a portrait of some saint over there. And some service center and dairy farm just beside. There have been no real cows at the dairy farm since 1983, only a small museum. And museum is completely free, and it has some photos and artifacts from its old history dated back in 1890. So this farm is 130 years old and is built pretty much the same time as sanatorium. Dairy farm was set up in 1886 by a Scottish surgeon to improve the health of Hong Kong residents by supplying them with uncontaminated cow's milk. Cows were imported from North America, Australia and Scotland for this purpose. You won't believe me, but this business is still alive. Now, Dairy Farm International Holdings Limited has an annual revenue of 28 billion US dollars, 200,000 employees, and a headquarters in downtown Hong Kong. That was a very interesting and fruitful stop. Let's go to Aberdeen now. Aberdeen is just a small town with a population of around 80,000 people, and they have everything. Obviously an Aberdeen market, a central market, and many familiar brands like food places, even Giordano across the street. And what else it has is its own charm, its own vibe. It's completely different than Kowloon or Hong Kong Central, Wan Chai, and let's just walk around the streets and absorb its own vibe and pace. Very different. The first thing you notice in Aberdeen is much more greenery on the streets as compared to Hong Kong Central or Kowloon. Here is just a jungle everywhere. Large greenery all around the place. There is very photogenic cemetery on the hill in Aberdeen. You can see it in many travel guides as well, because photos are really cool since it's kind of going up the hill. Really quite interesting design. I wonder how much apartments cost over here just beside the cemetery. Must be very cheap, because that's the only thing you can see when you open the window is a massive Chinese cemetery. As Aberdeen has been a fishing village for centuries, let's head straight from cemetery to one of the most historical places in Hong Kong, Aberdeen Harbour. And here we go. The main landmark in Aberdeen is Aberdeen Harbour or Aberdeen Promenade. It's full of fishing villages, because even due to pollution or overfishing, this industry is still prosper here in Aberdeen. It was always a fishing village and always will be. Let's get some boat to cross to Ap Lei Chau Island and have this experience in a traditional wooden boat, which is high powered now. And this is probably a fish market. And I think it's open every morning or maybe on the weekends, so they catch fish and sell it right away at the promenade. At the western end of the promenade is a floating village, and probably the market belongs to them, so That's how they earn money. They live here and probably don't pay any taxes, and then they just sell the fish to make a living. Those are the Tanaka people, who are generally associated with the fishing industry here. A few dozen families are still living on those traditional boats, which are much more spacious and cheaper than those shoe-sized houses in Hong Kong. Oh, I didn't expect you can catch a boat to Lama Island from Aberdeen Harbor. This is the schedule. They depart almost every hour, and price is $12.50 on weekdays and a bit pricey on the weekends. You can also catch a boat to Ap Lei Chau just across the strait, which I'm going to do right now. Every June and July, the harbor becomes a typhoon shelter for over 1,000 fishing vessels. At other times, it serves as a shelter for people like me, who are escaping a typhoon of people in Hong Kong Central. This is the traditional wooden boat, which is now motorized, and let's take it to get to Ap Lei Chau. How much it costs, I'm not sure. Let's find it out. Oh, wow, you can pay with octopus. So it takes literally like 3-4 minutes to cross from Aberdeen to Ap Lei Chau, and $2.50. And I'm wondering why they never built a bridge between those two areas, because Ap Lei Chau is considered to be the mostly densely populated island in the world. I mean, look at these skyscrapers. They're just everywhere. And from Aberdeen you can see all the skyscrapers lined along the harbor. Just massive, massive. And they're everywhere. And the first thing I see while coming from the harbor is, you will never guess, it's McDonald's. No wonder, for the most densely populated island in the world, it's a must. With 80,000 people living on an island of just over 1 square kilometer, the population density here is 61,000 people per square kilometer. But where is everyone? Queuing for a Victoria Peak tram? Okay, maybe it's just Monday. What's going on in Ap Lei Chau? This is already 5th property agency within just 100 meter stretch of the main road. This is another one, and another one over there. And at the beginning I saw 2 more. Seems like property in a very high demand in a highly densely populated island in the world. And prices are kinda average Hong Kong prices, or just like in Singapore. Seems like people slowly moving out from highly densely populated area in Hong Kong and the most populated island in the world to another, maybe new territories and other areas. And construction of even more high-rise buildings is ongoing in Ap Lei Chau to make it even more densely populated. Let's walk to the MTR through the jungle and finally catch a train to the beach. Ap Lei Chau literally means Duck Tan Island, probably because the shape of the island resembles the duck or its tan or something. And top things to do here is shopping. So Horizon Plaza over there is very famous for bargain shopping and hiking. You can go to Ap Lei Pai Island, is down south, and hike to Mount Johnston Lighthouse. But unfortunately you need around 2 hours to do the hike, and I'm kinda not prepared today because I'm wearing slippers. But based on the photos, is very highly recommended scenic hike, very spectacular views from there, and it's also not that easy because it's very hilly, as well as the entire Hong Kong island. And look where I am right now. I'm in the middle of the jungle, a concrete jungle of Ap Lei Chau. Just insane how many skyscrapers are there. And yes, no people around me, and probably because it's again Monday afternoon. Just look at this. Bamboo scaffolding is such a signature of Hong Kong and so popular. So someone up there doing renovation of their apartment using bamboo scaffolding. What a culture, amazing. And the highlight of Ap Lei Chau is this promenade. What a view. Cargo ship containers passing by. Very quiet and peaceful. And I'm sure this amphitheater is full of locals and tourists on the weekends. Look at this. The MTR line opened here just 7 years ago. I can't imagine how 70,000 people used to get out of this ant house with only one bridge from the island. Anyway, let's get back to Hong Kong Island. very clean, very smooth and neat. I like it. And this is Ocean Park. It deserves a separate day. I will go there in 2 days to explore the separate day. And here's some highlights from Ocean Park. Ocean Park is the most diverse entertainment and educational parks in the world, where I spent 9 hours. I mean, it literally has everything. An aquarium, a panda village, a heritage village, a cable car, a submarine, a long queues, roller coasters for kids and adults, the cutest creatures, a lot of animals, a lot of people, and of course overpriced food with underrated views. By the way, I'm going to this beach down there right now. There is Eco Bus. Seems more pricey. 750. This is the Light Bus, a new environmentally friendly minibus, perfect for navigating narrow and winding roads where standard buses can't go. They are frequent, expensive, fast and carry a maximum of 19 seated passengers. No standing passengers are allowed. I got scolded really bad by a local auntie when I stood up. Deepwater Bay Beach. Wow. First time in Hong Kong on a beach. There are 2 main beaches at the south of Hong Kong Island. Deepwater Bay Beach and next one Repulse Bay. It's just 15 minutes by walk from here. And both famous among beach lovers, and they give this kind of Mediterranean vibe. Like, look at these yachts over there, all these hills around, and the most important, what I'm admiring of, is these high-rise buildings on a hill just beside the beach. How expensive they are. What a wonderful scene. Very, very spectacular. And no wonder 19 of the city's richest billionaires, worth more than $120 billion in aggregate, reside within this area. Just 100 years ago, it was nothing more than a small village with a population of just 8 people. And yet, this is not the top of the list. Within 5 minutes, an eco-bus will bring you to one of the most expensive residential areas in the world. Repulse Bay. Repulse Bay Beach is much more crowded than Deepwater Bay. So you want some peaceful evening, you better go to Deepwater Bay. And this is weekday afternoon, it's not even weekend, and still quite a lot of people and tourists. And see, this white residential building has a hole in the middle. It's another feng shui thing that a dragon can fly freely from inland to the bay. And there are a lot of residential buildings all along the bay. Prices, I think, skyrocket here. And construction is still ongoing. There's very quiet and pleasant promenade along the beach with coffee shops, restaurants, shops. It's good to come here and spend a whole day, not just 1 hour as me, but still it's enough to absorb the local chill vibe. But the vibe wasn't always chill at Repulse Bay. During the Battle of Hong Kong in World War II, it was quite an important strategic location. The Repulse Bay Hotel, the one with the hole, remember? Before the redevelopment was used by the Japanese as a military hospital during the war. At this area at Lookout Tower number 4, almost no people. Mostly people concentrated at the first 3 towers. So you can come here and have a peaceful evening. The beach was artificially extended, and now it's one of the longest beaches in Hong Kong with a length of 292 meters. Wonderful beach to have some coffee and rest. And now let's get to Stanley, the last stop, exploring south of Hong Kong Island. The trip down there is worth it even for the most spectacular bus ride. Descending from a hill on a double-decker is once-in-a-lifetime memorable experience. And welcome to Stanley. That was the largest settlement before British came to Hong Kong. Bus stops just opposite to a former police station which was built in 1859 and is the oldest surviving police station in Hong Kong. And Japanese used it as their headquarters during World War II. And now people just use it as a shelter to wait for their bus. There's a bus stop over there. There's not only police station here, I can see there's a Stanley post office. It also looks like old historical building. Oh, there is a new letterbox. Green color resembles British rule, but there's some very old post office. this is just for display, but actually it was installed here, and it has limited capacity of 250 letters. And postage stamps, also from British Times. Stanley Church, very nice blue colors choice. So Stanley represents the British colonial impact on Hong Kong through older Chinese traditions. So there are a lot of British footprints mixed with the Chinese culture, basically. A very interesting fusion to witness and observe. Here we go, St. Stephen's College, another historical legacy from British, but since it's not open for public, it's just a campus. It's full of British legacy in Hong Kong. There's a chapel as well. During World War II, the college was a key battleground and one of the last British strongholds to surrender to the Imperial Japanese Army. And behind former police station is the Stanley Market. But it's quite late now, it's closed, and it's connected with the Stanley Promenade. Let's catch a sunset over there and finish the day. Stanley waterfront. Wow, look at this. Stanley is the most laid-back town in the entire city. It served as the administrative center for the British from 1842. Good choice, lads. Stanley Beach is very famous for dragon boats competitions. Every day they're held over here. And a lot of restaurants. Let's find a place to have a dinner and catch the sunset over here. Look at this color choice. It's not Hong Kong, completely different life, completely different vibe. Wow. I'm glad today I relocated myself here from bustling city. Just like how Murray House was relocated here in 2001 from Central to make way for the Bank of China Tower. Yes, this is Murray House, and that's the Bank of China Tower. So initially Murray House stood here since 1846. So cool history, huh? The perfect end to a productive day exploring such a diverse Hong Kong island. Good night.